welcome to Farm to Fork on Common Ground this afternoon. We are really fortunate to have some time with Taarini Chopra from the Canadian Biotech Action Network. Taarini is a researcher and an advocate for a cleaner food system. She works with the Biotech Action Network that has been one of the leading agencies addressing Canadian policy around biotech, including genetically modified organisms and GE. Taarini also was one of the lead researchers on a recent report looking back at 20 years of commercialization of GMOs in the marketplace. We hear a lot of promises about what GMO is offering the planet, and CBAN, through Taarini and her colleagues, decided to take a comprehensive look at that, and they released 5 reports last year that are heavily footnoted and impeccably researched, that show that the promises of GMO haven't quite turned out to be what we were led to believe they might be, but I'll allow Taarini to pick up from here and speak from there. Thanks.
Great. Well, I don't really need this given that there's just 5 of you, but I'll stand here anyway. Hi folks, it's so exciting to be here on this gorgeous day. And so incredible to look around and just see how vibrant and amazing our food movement is, and that we get to be part of this. Look at that, turn around, look at that, that's so great. Anyway, so big thank you to the organizers who are not here right now, but what a great event. I'm sorry that I missed yesterday, but it sounded like it was fantastic, and I'm delighted to be here. Like Jody mentioned, I work for a group called the Canadian Biotechnology Action Network. It's a bit of a mouthful, but it's also called CBAN. You might know us better as CBAN. And we are a network of organizations that looks at different issues around GM crops, that monitors which new GM crops might be coming on the market, and we produce information and action for all of you on some of the GM crops and foods in Canada and some of the issues that come up with that. So when we think about what GM foods we're really talking about now in Canada at the moment, there's really just 4. 3 of them are major, they're corn, canola, and soy. And then there's also some amount of sugar beet, though it's much smaller. So we're really talking about just 4 GM crops. So there's no GM rice, there's no GM wheat. Someone was asking me earlier today about GM tomatoes. There are no GM tomatoes anywhere in the world. So we're not talking just about Canada, but anywhere in the world. So the 3 major ones are corn, canola, and soy. Now, of course, corn, canola, and soy are in a lot of our processed foods, right? So in the grocery store, there's actually a fair number of products that will have some kind of GM ingredients, but we don't know where they are because nothing is labeled, right? We don't have mandatory GM labeling in Canada, and so any foods that might have some GM soy, some GM canola, some GM corn don't have to say on them that they have GM ingredients. And what some of the new developments are that you might have heard earlier this year, the Canadian government approved GM fish, so a GM salmon variety is technically approved. It's not being manufactured anywhere in the world. It's not on the market anywhere in the world yet, including in Canada. But if it were to be, when it is, if it is, then it will not have a label on it to tell you that this is GM salmon. And similarly with the GM apple, it was also approved last year. It's, again, not on the market yet. There is no GM apple on the market in Canada yet. But when and if it is on the market, it won't be labeled. But what we're hoping, of course, is that it won't be on the market at all, right? We're hoping we get to stop it. So far it isn't. We want to keep it that way. And so one of the things we can do is we can take action to keep GM apples out of the grocery store. And so if you want to know more about that, you can visit our website, cban.ca, cban.ca. And you can go home, or now, if you've got phones with you, you can write to the grocery stores and tell them that as consumers, you don't want GM apples on the grocery store shelves. And we've seen that the grocery stores are actually really listening to us, to consumers, to eaters. They will reply to your email, and they will register that complaint from you or your preference. And you can do that for fish and for apple. All that information is on our website. Another action if we're thinking about things that we can do as eaters, as participants in our food system, another action that we can all take is around some of you might have heard that Bayer and Monsanto, two of the really big seed companies and pesticide companies, just agreed on a merger. That just happened a few weeks ago. And so what that means is that the biggest seed company in the world is getting bigger, right? This is two very large companies that are coming together, and they're getting bigger. So we have a smaller, shrinking number of large companies that control our food system, but that amount of control is the same or growing. And so one of the actions that we can take is to actually write to the Anti-Competition Bureau in Canada to say, hey, we think you need to investigate this merger and see if it really should go ahead, because those companies have agreed to merge, but they haven't been given approval by the governments yet. And there are some really important governments around the world that can say, no, we're not okay with this merger going ahead because we need to have more competition in our markets. And this is the case at the moment. So if you want to see what CBAN wrote to the Anti-Competition Bureau, you can find that on the website as well. And if you'd like to write yourself or get more information, you can, of course, do that too. And of course, another way, as you can see from all the amazing vendors here, that we all get to take action is by choosing to support a different kind of farming, right? By choosing to support farmers who are committed to growing in a way that is different from the food system that Monsanto and Bayer are in the business of creating. That's a very different kind of food system than the organic whole foods that we are so lucky to be able to share today, and that farmers who are growing organic are committed to providing for us. And so that is a really, really powerful action that we get to continue to do at any point by supporting organic farmers and organic producers. And maybe on that note, I'll actually take myself off and let Michael come up, because he has some delicious samples that fit right into what I'm talking about, or maybe he's just going to talk. I don't know if there's samples or not. Just talking, no samples, scratch the samples. But I'll swap up with you, and I'm around for the rest of the day. Our booth is just around this red tent here. If you want to come and chat with me, please do. I'm around. I have lots more information. I have information about the reports that Jody mentioned that I didn't talk about, but the project is called GMO Inquiry. Happy to tell you more about it. Happy to tell you more about what we do. Answer any questions. I'd love to chat. Thanks.
Thanks, Taarini.